Alright guys, so this is going to be my first stream. It's not gonna last too long, hopefully it doesn't last too long. So we're gonna go over my basic build for what I think is gonna be Naya mid-range dinosaurs. So let's hop into it. So for the creatures, I've got 22 creatures. For the first spot, we'll go with I guess we'll go in some kind of a mana curve order. So for the 8 2-drops. We got 8 2-drops in the deck. The first 4 we've got Drover the Mighty. Drover the Mighty is Drover the Mighty gets +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur. And you can tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And he is a 1 and a green, and he's a human druid. So, I mean, if y'all have been keeping up with the spoilers or keeping up with anything else like that, I'm in. Man, suck at this. Okay, so you know that this is the point of this deck is going to be to ramp on curve from all the way from 2 to hopefully 6 on your mana curve. So you're going to be progressively going through that curve in order to present bigger and better threats. So on the beginning of the curve, you've got Drover the Mighty, and then you've got Opatek the Huntmaster. So Drover the Mighty is just a 1 and a green basic mana dork, but he gets a +2/+2 if you've got a dinosaur on the field. So that's always a bit of a bonus. You know, you get a 1/1 body turned into a 3/3 body for 2 mana. Already beats the vanilla curve test, and you're also being able to tap it. So we'll create a good blocker, you know, on turn 3 or turn 4. If you start getting mixed up in combat, plus you've got your mana ramp. So, but here's the real all-star. That 2-drop slot is going to be Opatek the Huntmaster, 1 in a red for another human shaman. So dinosaurs you control cost 1 less to cast, and then you can tap it, and then a target dinosaur gets haste until the end of the turn. So when you play him on turn 2, hopefully you got a dinosaur to follow up on turn 3, which already has haste. So, you know, hasty dinosaurs or fast dinosaurs is going to be, you know, it's going to be very powerful when it comes to the standard meta coming up in this new season. And actually, I was reading the developers' notes and listening to some of the podcasts on that the Wizards has on their website, and they said that they want to try to distinguish between dinosaurs, because dinosaurs could very easily have been just dragons without wings, you know, dragons without flying, you know, just big fast creatures with teeth and, you know, smashing for a bunch of damage. But they wanted to make it distinct, so, you know, most of these dinosaurs are going to be very cost effective. They're going to beat their mana curve, and they're going to have a lot more value than what their mana cost is going to be. So you've already got a 1/2. He's not going to be doing much in combat, but he's going to be wanting to tap to give those dinosaurs haste, which is just going to add another keyword ability onto those guys, which is going to be pretty dangerous. So then we're going to move on to ranging raptors. This is going to be basically what's going to replace, you know, your what's that card? Beneath the Sands. So anytime, and it's a new mechanic too, so anytime it takes damage from combat or from a burn spell or any other source of damage, then you get to go search a land card out of your library, a basic land, and then you get to put it on the battlefield tapped. So when this happens, either really 2 options. You can burn it yourself for less than 3, and you can activate its ability in the enrage, and then you can go get a land, which is basically just giving how many times you can ping this for 1 or 2 damage. You can get reoccurring land acceleration from them, or you can mix them up in combat, and a land replaces him on the battlefield, which is good, especially since you're playing on that mid-range curve like that. Next up would be Ripjaw Raptor, running a full play set of those just because they're going to be so good. You know, you've got 2 and 2 green. It has enraged just like the last one. As it's dealt damage, you get to draw a card. So not only is a mid-range ramp deck into big creatures, it's getting card draw advantage, which is not something that you always see in decks like this, but definitely that card draw, especially since you're going to be dumping your hand. You might be dumping it faster than you can draw it. It's going to be definitely very valuable, especially since at a 5, You know, you might get 2 or 3 triggers out of this thing before it dies in combat, just out of blockers itself, just because your opponent's not going to want to take 4 damage to face every turn. So, you know, every trump blocker you get a good draw card off of it. Moving on, you got 3 copies of Regisaur Alpha. So it's a 3, a red and a green. When if he's on the battlefield, his static effect is all the other dinosaurs have haste. He does what Opotec does, but at least you don't have to tap anything, and you just straight get haste. And then you got whenever he enters the battlefield, you get a 3/3 green dinosaur with trample. Now, a lot of people are saying that this card is going to get deemed irrelevant due to the fact that Glorybringer is still on the field, so it will die to Glorybringer, but it also leaves behind a 3/3 trample haste creature. So you can smash your opponent in with a 3/3 token with trample. Depending on the board state, that might be, you catch them with an empty board state, that might be 3 extra damage that you get in right there. On top of maybe you've got Opotec too, so Regisaur Alpha can get haste as well. So you can smash in for 7 or empty board state, or force a bad block, or things of that nature. So definitely a really powerful card, just because of the fact that you can give everything after him haste, which brings us on to our last creature, which is going to be Carnage Tyrant. Now, this is what I expect to be is going to be the game winner. Now, I used to play Green Red Ramp, the ramp deck that came out with the Hour of Promise, when Hour of Devastation hit and Hour of Promise got talked about. World Breaker was my win condition, basically. You still had Ulamog in the deck, which was, when you played him, he was very much a win condition as well, but I like to rely on those World Breakers, just the 5/7 creatures that can get rid of a land. You tempo your opponent with the land destruction, and they were awesome, especially if you got to chain them together with Sanctum of Ugin. I think Carnage Tyrant's going to be pretty similar to this, being able to get on the battlefield without being countered, and then having Trample and Hexproof is going to make him incredibly difficult to get rid of. So your opponent's going to be taking 7 Trample to the face just about every turn, and not to mention if you've got other abilities that can pump up your Carnage Tyrant, it's going to be pretty silly. Let's move on to the instance. You've got a suite of red removal right here, 4 copies of Braid, 4 copies of Lightning Strike. Each one of them are instants, 1 in a red. This one will deal 3 damage to target creature or player. This one will deal 3 damage to target creature only, but you can also destroy a target artifact. Kaladesh is still in rotation. Kaladesh is still going to be a thing. There's probably going to be still decks out there that are going to have a lot of very valuable artifacts that you can get rid of with Braids. Great card. I loved it when they got printed in Hour of Devastation. I've used it several times, especially getting rid of Gearhulks and stuff like that. It's just a good card. Then you've got sorceries, Commune with Dinosaurs. Now, I understand why they printed it, because we needed a replacement for Oath of Nissa, and we still have the card from Kaladesh, Attune with Aether, that gets you 2 energy, but this is a good replacement. Not only does it dig a little deeper, it takes 5 cards instead of 3, but you can also pull a land or a dinosaur out of your hand and put it into your hand. So basically, you're just going to want to do this all of your. You don't want to do this just to get lands in the first couple turns, but if you get lucky, maybe you get this in a late game draw, and you're missing some of your larger threats. You can play a Commune with Dinosaur, go search up your Carnage Tyrant, Ripjaw Raptor, and then you can slam it on the field that turn, since it's hopefully it only costs 1 mana to go get it. So that'll be a good. So you're not sitting there waiting to top deck a good creature. You can play Commune with Dinosaur, go search him up out of the top 5, and then go play him on the battlefield that turn. So let's go to the Planeswalkers. So we've got 1 copy of Wadley Warrior Poet. She's new. She'll gain you a lot of life, but and then she'll create, for a 0 effect, she can create those 3/3 dinosaurs with trample. We'll see. In the sideboard, these Planeswalkers are probably going to vary in between the numbers, so it's definitely I'm gonna still have to test that with and go. But I think she's going to be pretty good. I think I might bump her up to 2 copies, because I feel like that life gain against aggro decks is just going to be what puts you over the edge. And then you've got 2 copies of Chandra, Torch of Defiance, which is always, you've got, your first ability causes damage, and if you do it at the beginning of your turn, you may be able to cast something right off the top. That second ability is a big one, getting 2 red mana you've already got a Braid and Lightning Strike. That Chandra will basically play those for you for free. Or if you're stuck at 4 mana, you play her and you just can't seem to draw another spell, then you can add those 2 red. Now you're well on your way to casting your Carnage Tyrants just off of Chandra alone. So she's, there's a reason she's still $35 to $50 now, still. So, and then last but not least, we've got the lands. So lands are going to probably change depending on what the testing turns out to be. So you've got 10 forests, 3 high spiring advantage, 2 mountains, 1 plain, 4 rootbound crags, and then 3 sunpetal groves. These will probably change. These were, I might swap these out instead of some of the Kaladesh lands that came in, the green white one. But so far, that's what I have, and we can see how it works. But other than that, that's kind of my prediction to what something probably similar to this is what it's going to look like. You've got your creatures on curve. You've got your 2 drops. You've got your 3 drop, 4 drop, 5 drop, 6 drop. So you're just going to progressively go into that curve, and then you can use cards like a Braid and Lightning Strike to start clearing things out of your way. So your dinosaurs can't smash in. This is for damage. So this is just what I kind of predict is going to be what's going on. And a majority of the sideboard, there are going to be some white cards in the sideboard. The only white card that I'm playing right now is going to be Huatli, as far as something that costs white. But there will be white cards in the sideboard that I want to have the white in there just in case I need to bring it in. But I don't want to have too much. So I might just pick 4 copies of high inspiring advantage, and then maybe a couple planes. So I might cut down on the white sources a little bit just because I don't want to be stuck at white-red and not see green, or be stuck at white-green and not see red. Things of that nature. But primarily it's going to be a red-green dinosaurs deck. But other than that, here's kind of a look at the mana curve right now. You've got 4 total copies of a 1-drop. You've got your 8 red burn spells, and then you've got your 4 2-drop, or your Drover of the Mighties. Pretty sure that's Drover of the Mighty. Yeah, there it is. So your 4 2-drops, and then you've got your Oak-Tech Huntmaster, and then your Lightning Strike and Braid, and then you've got your 4 3-drops. There's your 4 drops, which you got 4 drop, and then Chandra there is a 4 drop as well. And then you've got your Regisaur Alphas, and then you've got your Huatlis. Those are going to both be multicolored spells on turn 5. And then you got your Carnage Tyrants on turn 6. So that's just kind of what I'm looking at as far as right now is what it's going to be. I'm sure this is probably going to change, but I'm pretty sure it'll work out pretty well even at this rudimentary level. So if you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, I'll probably post this on Twitch and post this on YouTube, just as kind of like my first video. So I'll be a little more lively next time. It's like 11:30 at night. I've got to be up in probably 4 or 5 hours. So I'll see you later.